hello, lovely to see you. So I've got all these, let me take them over here so I can actually show you. Stick with me a second. Like I said, I'm interested in doing some journaling stuff. And because I'm an idiot or something, I decided I'd make my own journaling paper. So this is a 3.7mm grid. I'll show you all about this tomorrow. I think I'll save that for tomorrow. But here we got, this is like cards type of paper. And then we've got, this is fountain pen ink. Then I decided to try this blue one here, which is the Pigma Micron pen. So anyway, where's the light? The idea is, I think I mentioned this last week, that I want to be able to plot sort of any design of grid paper or lined paper or dot paper that I want on any type of paper that I want and with any type of pen. So you can obviously get, there's a whole thing on Etsy of people making printouts of filofaxes and bullet journals and the like, but you have to use like whatever paper and go into your printer. It can be kind of tricky putting other paper in your printer. Plus we have stuff like this paper, black paper with silver on it. And now if I just put this in here. So basically that's what I've been doing all day, is plotting sheets of paper for my journal as an experiment. I'll show you the tool tomorrow. Well, hello. I thought we'd try something a little bit different on this Tuesday morning. I promised you I'd show you the tool that I'm using to make the pages. I'm just going to stick myself into this space here. I don't know which side it's going to be on. And this is my page here. It's an A5 size page. And if I mouse over, I've kind of got this grid. And basically, I've got this line here. I'm going to keep looking down to my shortcut keys. So I can move this around, and then I'm going to split here, let's say, switch to vertical, and I'm going to split here. And then I can make this a dot, I can make this a grid, and then I can make this some lines. And then you pretty much have a page layout like that. And I can keep on going. So if I want to go horizontal and then split here, and I can make that framed and clear. So now I've got this type of thing. And then also I can change my grid size, because I kind of like a 3.7mm grid, but some people like to use a 5mm grid, so we go all the way up to 5mm. And because I'm splitting here like this, it's keeping the ratio pretty much the same. So I can carry on going like this. I'm going to have a frame on there, I'm going to have a grid on here, going to have some lines, but make them double height. And then, yeah, let's do that. Oh, actually leave that one clear. So now I've got this weird page. Oddly enough, this looks a little bit like generative art, so I can go through and then do something else. So if I want a grid, but I'm going to split here and here and here, and let's say here and here, then vertical. Let's make that frame clear. Anyway, you get the idea. It's kind of fun. And then I can quickly make these page layouts and then send them to the penplotter to draw them onto the page. So I've got a few more of these. A couple of nice touches is I can also toggle the side the holes go on, so I can make them back and forth. And I can also, if I do this, flip it, horizontally, so I can get them to mirror both sides. And that is something I wrote on Friday. I finished it off on Monday. It's kind of buggy, there's still some things wrong with it, and the next thing I want to do is be able to add bold lines. So if I want to have this line bold and this line bold, I can just press the B key and then start putting some bold lines in, so I can divide those up. And I think this will do me for the moment. The next step is to tie this with the handwriting stuff, so I can get Kitty to then draw out a page and then write my journal entry onto the page, so I don't have to do anything. But for the moment, this is all right. And as you saw yesterday, I've been testing papers. There's a couple more things I want to do. I want to get some grey ink, but I'm going to have to wait until tomorrow to do that. So this is where we're at with this kind of fun page designer. Like split, 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 vertical, split, split, grid, dot, lines, grid, dot, lines. And so actually, let's split that again. Split. Kind of fun. It's very straightforward to do. Lovely grey foggy morning, which is a good segue into testing out these grey inks. And I think this is going to annoy me behind me. But anyway, so I've been plotting these pages for the journal. And one thing that I really noticed is that I want to have a grid, but the lines are too thick or they're too dark. So if you look in the Hobonichi, it's got all this grid here that is very fine line. It's quite light, and it's also dashed as well, which makes it even lighter. And I can't do that at all on the plotter because dashing will make it take like 2 hours to plot the whole thing. So what I'm looking for is a really light grey. I've got these 3. So I've got Diamond Silver Fox, which I suspect is going to be quite dark. Then I've got this Pilot. I'm not even going to say it. I'll put a link or write the text. And then I've got this Sailor brand here. And I think this is the one that I'm favouring at the moment, just because the picture looks sort of a lot lighter. And this has a lovely range. It's got a whole bunch of them in sort of very light subtle blue, very light subtle green, and so on. And because I don't want to fill up a fountain pen to test all of these, I've got my trusty glass pen here, which I'm going to use, and I'm just going to dip it ever so slightly, clean it between each ones. So we're going to go with the Diamine first. Let's go for the Sailor one next, see how that goes. Looking pretty good. And then the Pilot one next. As I suspected, I think the winner is the Sailor one. This is a really nice subtle grey. I'm going to try it again on the grey paper, see how it looks, and then we'll stick it in a fountain pen, stick it in the plotter. Well, that was quite nice. The next thing is to stick it into this plotter over here and then see how it does. So I'm going to do that now. I will show you the end result rather than the whole process. All right, let's go. All right, it's done. And I'm wearing gloves because it's really freaking cold. I kind of like it. The grey is really subtle. I can see myself writing over a grid with that. That's actually turned out to be pretty good. So I'm going to put these into the file fax over there. It's going to be a very quick day today because it's newsletter day, and this morning I got a little bit more book reading to do, the last of the practice-based research. I'm going to try to summarize it in the newsletter, but that means gathering all my thoughts and all my notes from the last 2 weeks together and yeah, get them into a newsletter. Not necessarily that interesting for everyone else, but it's part of the documentation. So that's it for today. I will see you tomorrow. Welcome to Friday, where I've just finished plotting some of these postcards because I got some thank you postcards to send out, so that's good. So I did that, and earlier I was plotting journal pages. I'll show you in a second. I also fixed some code that this mock-up was going wrong. It was too small over here, so Kitty can now send out mock-ups again. It's not perfect, there's still these lines down here, but it's good enough for me not to worry about. So that's kind of cool. These are the journal pages. So I plotted some, so I've got enough here for writing on Friday, and then I got a spread for Saturday, Sunday, and then over here is like a summary of the week, and then planning the next week. I decided to change ink for next week and pages for Monday, so I'm all set for a while. And then this is what I'm going to be doing this afternoon, reading my art write, which helps you write an artist statement. And this book is really good. It's more like a workbook in that it's got all these blanks to fill in. So, and sort of exercises to do. So that's a really good book if you're interested in writing an artist statement. Highly recommend that one. And I think roughly that's it for this week. I'm still dressed up in all of this type of stuff. I'm cold, it's my mistake. During winter I put on like loads and loads of layers before setting off. And now I'm like, it's spring, it's nice and warm-ish. And then I get into the studio and it's not warm, so I ought to be putting more layers on. That's by the by. I lost a pound weight this week, so that's kind of good. And I'm going to head back to the old studio to edit this Weeknotes video, and I'll read that book. I think that'll do. This video has been long enough because Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I think were all long days, if memory serves me well. Anyway, you all have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week. I love you all. Bye.